Welcome to the best vidcast in baseball with Derrick Goold, longtime baseball writer for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I'm Jeff Gordon. Let's get right to it. Derrick, a bit of news at the winter warm-up in that the ownership says, okay, we could still keep Arenado to start the season, and we could still keep Steven Matz, and we could still keep Eric Fedde, and we can live with that based on the cuts they've already made. Your take on that?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that they're going with this mid-30s rotation with a lot of established starters. I think Eric Fedde really even counts in that regard because he's come back. And then meanwhile, trying to really drop age by trying to look at trades for Nolan Arenado so that the lineup is much younger. I mean, you're talking about just in an average age there, Jeff, you're talking about like a disparity of possibly 8 years, which suggests that through the turbulence of youth and the ups and downs that they kind of mentioned during the warm-up, that they want to at least have a bedrock of pitching innings, which is a bit of a stark contrast from a few years ago when it was like they had a lot of volatility with innings. So, it seems like they want to at least kind of give this reset, as they're calling it, a firm foundation of at least the innings won't be chased all season, even if the runs and experience are on the lineup. I think it's an interesting way to go. It is certainly one direction. It will help, if those pitchers all pitch well, Jeff, it will help with their consistency. Like it will just give them something to cling to series to series to series. And maybe then that lightens the expectations, which, let's just be blunt, that's increasingly what this is becoming a big part of, is decreasing the expectations. I mean, even privately, they're like, well, the division's there for the taking. Players talk about it. Ownership talks about it. Management talks about it. The division isn't exactly running away from them. It's still there, but they're trying to lighten the expectations a little bit. And I spoke with John Mozeliak, and he said that even at one point in time, he goes, I kind of would like to see what a clubhouse is like when it doesn't have like the weight of the Cardinals' history pressing against it and just kind of gets to make its own way.
Oh, the end of the nostalgia era, Derrick.
Yeah.
I do think they give themselves, this is a smart play because
Okay.
ultimately keeping these pitchers, if the season doesn't go the right way, these guys will have value in trades because other pitchers are going to get hurt. If these pitchers stay healthy, they're going to have trade value. You're playing it halfway. We've talked about it. You don't want to expose that young pitching early. Maybe by midseason, you're more willing to expose the young pitching, depending on how everybody does. A bunch of these guys still have to prove they can stay healthy.
That's a great point. All right, let's close here because I got a question for you. All right, you're pinch hitting. You're taking a shift on our Blues beat. So, what was chillier this past week? The temps in St. Louis, the reception to the Cardinals at the warm-up, or out on the ice with the Blues? Jeff, you're the one who can answer this.
Yeah, they wanted the rock and roll start against the Vegas Golden Knights, and it was Hello Kitty night, and it was kind of a Hello Kitty game for the Blues, unfortunately. So,
Wow.
it's our heroes, and you've had a little taste of it yourself, but this will remind Cardinal fans that these retools can take a while and they can bring pain,
and they don't always work. So we're going Blues, temperatures, reception to the Cardinals at the warm-up. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.